Hi, welcome to class. My name is Don LaFond, and it is my pleasure to be your teacher for the next 16 weeks here in Cisco 2. Some of you have had me before, and you know my personality quirks and how I run the class, but many of you have not had me before. So I will go ahead and review the class and my expectations in today's lecture. Today's lecture is our very first lecture on in our Cisco 2 class, but it's not actually on a module. It's just to overview the content of the course. I will try my best to record all of the classes that I have all our classes this semester. But if I miss one for one reason or another, fortunately, I did record last semester, and you can put all those recordings in our class. So if you're working ahead or if you miss a class, you can still see my presentation if I forget to record. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. And you can see right away that I am a Mustang fan, Mustang fan. I have a 2015 Mustang that I love. And then I need to open our class. Hang on. Nope, they're making me log in. 1 second. By the way, this course, the WebEx, is always going to be the same exact link to get into our class. The link's actually available at any time, but I teach Cisco 1 on Wednesday and Thursday nights. So you're always welcome to join me in Cisco 1 if you want a refresher or something. But the don't sign into my classroom on those 2 nights, but you can if you want. Like I said, if you want to join us in Cisco 1, you can. All right, so here is our classroom. Now, the first thing I'll tell you about our classroom is that you can let me turn this off. You can minimize this picture at the very top. It is not really, it doesn't do anything. It's not a link. Now, compared to last semester, this semester they changed our classroom a little bit more. They made it so that you can jump directly to modules 1 through 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I click on module 7, 9, it actually takes you to the NetAcad content for module 7. It doesn't stop you from scrolling up, but for some reason they thought that was important to divide the course into the modules that are actually here. So it doesn't matter. You can click on module 1 through 4 the whole semester, and that will work fine. Or you can jump to a different module. In my class, I want you to ask all technical questions inside of the help discussion forum. And the reason why I do that is because you, the student, and your 14 fellow students are all doing these assignments right now. I did these assignments 5 years ago, so I may have even done different assignments, and they've modified them over the years. So when you run into a problem like step 4 not working, asking a question in the help discussion forum and having your fellow students help you is a whole lot more useful than asking me what the issues are, because I haven't done the lab. And if you're halfway through the lab, the only way for me to answer the question that you have is for me to start the lab and do the lab until you run into a problem. I don't have some magic answer key for all the problems that you're running into. So what I want you to do is, in the help discussion forum for module 1, if you have a problem, just click on module 1 and then just add a new discussion. When you add the new discussion, just in the top say question about packet tracer 1.1.5 or whatever it is, and then tell us. Also tell us not only what the problem is, but also say tell us what you've already tried, and tell us what the result was. Are you getting an error message, or is it just not working? This is critical because, as I said earlier, before I started this video, your NetLab assignments are using real equipment, and real equipment gets real errors. For some reason, last semester, for some reason, the running configuration was wiped. I'm sorry, well, the startup configuration was wiped, so the running configuration was blank. Somehow some student had figured out a way, hack into the system. I don't know, nobody knows, but erased all the running configurations, and the lab administrator had to go reset everything. So it is possible when you run into a problem either in Packet Tracer, which of course is all simulated, or in NetLab, which is real equipment, it is possible that there will be issues with this equipment. Just like another time, one of the labs, the actual switch went down. It went bad. And it's real equipment. It goes bad. The student wrote in the discussion forum, I was running on pod 3 and I got this error message, but I switched over to pod 4. And somebody else said, yeah, I couldn't get 3 to work either. And with the information students gave me, I was able to report to the lab administrator that there was a problem, and that sent him on a quest to figure out what was wrong with the actual switch itself. So tell us what as much information as you can, what lab you're working on, what pod you're working on, if it's NetLab, if you retried it a second time, tell us what the issue is, and we will help. Now, some students hate this. Some students are really embarrassed to ask a question in the help forum, and they blame me because I'm not willing to personally answer technical questions via email. But I promise you, you're going to get a faster response from a student that's actually doing the lab than you're going to get from me. I'd have to say, okay, I'll go do the lab and see if I get the same problem. That doesn't make any sense. But so please don't think this is a waste of time or it doesn't work. When you run into a problem, ask your fellow students. If you're having the same problem, say, yeah, I had that problem too. And third students, yeah, I don't think it's working. And then I'll go in and I'll see if I can do it. I can start the lab or get past that point. And if I can't, then I'll refer to the lab manager and see if he can figure out what the problem is. All right. So these help discussions are extremely important to your success in my class. And you can see whatever module you're on, just ask in that module. These are the video resources that I made from last semester, from recordings I made for last semester's presentations. I'm not perfect. I always tell my students, I learn, every class I learn something new. Heck, I learn something new from everything I do in life. So, and I think you guys are probably the same. So when you're watching the recordings, understand that if I forget a word or something. Matter of fact, if I forget a word in our class, please help me out. These are the assignments that are due this week. I give you a copy of the syllabus, and I'll cover that after I review the course. Then there's a first time in the course. It just tells you a little bit about what you're about to learn. The second thing is the student resources. This is where you download. This is where you download packet tracers. There's other references as well. If you don't have Packet Tracer 8.0, then you need to go to Student Resources and download the Packet Tracer. The student contract. This is your contract that tells me that you are ready to learn my course. Now, there's some critical issues in here that I want you to be aware of, and I point them out. I want you to go to the syllabus, and I want you to read the course description, make sure you're in the right class. I want you to read the learning outcomes. What are you going to learn in this class? There's no textbook in this class, so don't worry about that. Everything's in the Netacad I just showed you earlier with the course content. Your dates are important for submitting work, but I'm not one of those teachers that gives you a 0 for late work. I accept late work with a penalty of only 10% per week an assignment is due. You'll want to keep on top of your assignments in this class because if you don't keep on top, you don't keep on top of your work, then it's going to be much harder for you to catch up later in the semester. There's a lot of work in this course. I think there's 47 assignments. I'll show you in the syllabus in a minute. And those 47 assignments may take you an hour or more for each one of them. Then there's 14 graded discussions to do. There's 4 module exams and 3 final exams, two packet tracer and multiple choice. So there's a lot to do in this course. It's less than Cisco 1, but there's a lot to it. Like I said prior to starting this presentation, this course gets you ready to pretty much take your CCNA exam. There's still OSPF, and you have to learn, you have to review what's in the Cisco 3 course, but it's mainly OSPF. And you need, you can, once you get your CCNA, you can get a job making $50,000. And this is a real course, so there's real work. There's a lot of work. And it's always the rate my professor students that fail my course that take the time to say, way too much work. And when I read that, I say, okay, good. He understands that he didn't do all the work in the course, or she didn't understand my expectations at the beginning of the course, that there's a lot of work to do in this course. This is not, it's an easy A if you do the work. You do the work, you'll get an A. Not guaranteed, but last semester, 50% of my Cisco 2 class got an A. I'd love it to be 100%, but students fall behind, students skip assignments, and maybe do poorly on an assessment. So it is possible to get a B, but if you do all the work, you can pretty much on time, do all the work on time and to the best you can, and you will pretty much guarantee yourself an A. What else? So I also, in this, it's very important to understand, and you guys should all know this by now, but when you open up a packet tracer, you need to add your credentials. It offers you the ability to complete the lab using guest, but all of these packet traces are all complete out on the internet on Dan's courses and ccnav6.com. They're all out there, and all of them have guest as the credentials. So there are 100. All of them are completed with 100. And there's no way for me to know that you didn't just download those labs and give me and not do any of them. There's no way for me to know that other than if you add your credentials. When you add your credentials to a lab, it erases the lab. At the beginning of this course, in the student contract, I tell you that. So please do not be mad at me when I give you a 0 in week 3 because you forgot to enter your credentials. This came to light, by the way, by a student that was unable to do all of the work any of the work in the first 14 weeks, and then submitted all of the packet tracers for the entire course in week 15, right before the course ended. And it was like, there's no way you can do 15 labs in one day. Impossible. Another student did it in week 3, so it isn't just somebody submitting all the work late. And that student, at that point, I was like, how, you can't do all of this work in 1 week. It's not possible. And the student said that please accept it. I took the whole week off of work and I just did these assignments. And I said, no, it's right in the contract that you have to do the assignments and you have to add your credentials. And that student, when I said that to him, they dropped the class. Now, I would have accepted them without penalty if they redid them all. If they were able to do it once, they should be able to do it a second time. And look at all that extra practice. But instead, they dropped the class because I asked them to actually add their credentials. So I'm not being a jerk, but all of these are free out on those 2 websites. Free CCNA lab, or dance courses and elsewhere as well. So that is the contract, and you gotta sign that. And what I'm expecting you to do is I want you to make a statement that states that you have reviewed the syllabus and that you agree to all the terms in the student contract. That's You're telling me you agree to the fact that you have to add your name and you understand that you've read the syllabus or looked at the syllabus. All right. So that's important to do. The next thing I want you to do is fill out uh, the um, the student information assignment. Now, this is the student information sheet, and I will show you what that looks like. Desktop, that should be fine. So I'll just quickly, your name, what you'd like to be called, your last name, class meeting. You can tell me Mondays at 6. Just so it's not really critical, but that matters if I had more than one Cisco 2 class, but I only have one Cisco 2 class. Describe yourself a bit. This is not, I found out I gained 5 pounds last week at Disney, and I need to lose that 5 pounds in the next week. I want you to put in, like, what kind of person are you? Are you a techie guy that likes to fix all your family's computers? Are you a outgoing, or you're a hunter, or what tell me a little bit about yourself. You like EDM, that kind of stuff. Degree program, you know what that is, and how far along, and where you live. This is just type part of town. This is not your address. Work, where do you currently work? If you're a student, it's okay to put student. If you are, and then where do you want to work? What are you aiming for, right? I've had students put NA in there. It's like, no, you are not independent. If you are independently wealthy and you don't ever plan on working, put that in there. Independently welcome, taking classes for fun, or retired, I take classes because I want to get out of the house, whatever, right? Put it in there, right? But most likely you have a future idea where you want to work. Put that in there. Family and pets, put something in there to share. Computer knowledge is everybody in this class thinks they're a 10, but I'll describe what a 10 is. When it comes to computers, there's 4 major categories. There is programming, there's networking, there's computer applications, and there's did I say programming already? There's programming, networking, applications, and hardware, software. So somebody can be hardware, software. They fix computers. That means you build a computer. Somebody can be programming. They know how to program in 4 different languages: C plus, C sharp, JavaScript. Right. One language is great as long as it isn't just Python. Right. If you're just a Python guy, all right, you can still give yourself some credit for Python, because I'm not very good at it, but it's a pretty simple language. Um, and networking, you've built computers. I mean, you built a network for not only your home, but also maybe a small business. And programming, I already said, networking, hardware, and then applications. You've never sat down in front of a computer and not understood the application. Me personally, my kryptonite is Photoshop. No matter how long I use Photoshop, I just don't get it. It's just not common sense to me, and I don't know why, but it isn't. Um, Recently, I won't say I've mastered it, but I've gotten very good with Adobe, uh, um, um, not Reader, Adobe, what is it, Acrobat Pro, and been able to manipulate and make uh, PDFs, and that's the program I've learned recently to be able to modify. Anyways, so 1 to 10 is you do all of that. You program, you network, you work on building computers. You built your own computer. You've got an RX 3090 video card, and you know about Newegg's, whatever they call it, I gotta see if I won. Anyways, the I think I'm supposed to get a notification if I won. Anyways, you know about the shuffle, and you've got lucky enough to buy your video card through them. You get the idea, right? You are absolutely connected to tech. Tech. I really am checking my. Nope, I didn't win. Anyways, you win the opportunity to buy a new video card. That is a new concept for me that I'm doing it, but I don't really understand. Kind of like the opportunity to buy a new house in today's market. You make an offer. You make an offer, a more than full price offer on a house, which I just did yesterday for my daughter, and they did not get picked because somebody else made a higher, more than full price offer on the house. It's crazy. But anyways, networking. This is really only your success in Cisco One. If it was a breeze, and be honest, if it was a breeze and you flew through it and you were like, bring on more, then give yourself a 10. I'm okay with that. If you struggled with it, barely passing with help uh, the entire semester from your teacher or your fellow students, give yourself a 1. It's okay. It's with a C average, right? If you're somewhere in the middle, tell me. I'd like a phone number. The reason I asked for your phone number is because at the end of a semester, if something's lacking, like for example, you have a 64 average and you didn't take the final assessment, I'll reach out to you and I'll say, hey, you're going to take, yeah, I'll call you. I'll say, hey, you're going to take this test. You can pass the course if you do. Or if you're one of my better students and you interact in the discussion forum all the time and you come to all the classes and you participate, turn your mic on your webcam on every week, and I can see you every week. Um, then I might call you and say, hey, you've got an 88 average and you missed one lab or one discussion or you can retake an assessment, and I'll give you that A. You just have to bump it up bump it up a point or two. I'll call you. I'll do that. I like giving A's. I like helping students pass the course, but you got to give me a phone number so I can call you. The school doesn't give me a phone number. I also ask for in addition to your school email, which I can get really easy, I want you to give me another email address, and that is so that I know students don't read their school email, so please give me another email. I don't often email students, but it has been something I've done in the past when your phone goes right to voicemail and you're not calling me back. I've reached out via email as well. I also request a picture. It is required. It's worth 25% of this assignment's grade. Just insert a picture here of you. Not a picture of you in a Tigger costume because you used to work at Disney. I want a picture of you. And that is because I'm not fantastic with names. And so when you give me a picture and later in the semester you say, oh, we talked earlier, I say, I don't remember talking about that. I can actually go look at your picture and say, oh yeah, I remember, and that'll help me to remember who you are in our conversation. So this whole form, just save it as CTS 2600 student introduction dash your name, and send it to me, and that's one of our first assignments. Um, the next that is due next Monday. What else? Contract. I showed you assignment. Now the graded discussion forum. This graded discussion forum is your opportunity to interact with your fellow students, and I learn a little bit about you in this discussion. And you just click on add a new topic, and you just say Professor Don's introduction. And then you copy, oh no, not copy and paste unless you can put your Cisco, if you had me in Cisco One, you can just use that, I guess. And you can copy and paste or write read what I ask you. Now I know what I ask, so I have mine already done, so I'm going to do that right now. And then you should read it. This was what I put in the spring. Try to have um, make sure that it sounds okay, and then post. And then you have to post your introduction, and you have to comment on three or five. What is it? Five. You have to comment on five of your fellow students. Now, the rest of the graded discussions, you only have to comment on three to earn full credit. Okay, so you can see my post. You just click on it and click reply, and you got to do that 3 times to earn all the points for this. Okay, let's go back and see, great discussion. This system test, this just checks to see that you have the right software on your computer and that you are prepared for the packet trace for assignments. Now, I got this error message last time and I just closed out of the window because I didn't want to take enough time to get it to work. But it doesn't know what to packet trace. Let's see if it opens. Anyways, I probably needed to select the packet tracer file. But anyways, work on. Oh, it looks like it's loading. 0 of 9. If it gets to 1, okay, good. Continue. So this means I guess it means it works. And this, I don't understand why it's a real test. It's a system test. Maybe it's just so that you can see what it looks like. But yeah, it's just showing you how to whatever. Um, so that's enough of that. So you go. I mean, don't just go through it. It actually says it's not required. So whatever grade you have in there doesn't really matter. Okay. And that's there. Just make sure you understand how to take a test. You guys should be fine in this class. And then the actual ITN practice, this should be the exact same course you took last semester in your Cisco 1 class for the very final exam. So this should not be new for you. Hang on a second, let me set it up. And I give you 3 hours, so you have plenty of time. And good. Okay. So the test. So that is the first week's work. I just went through all of those assignments, right? And they're all very important. So please take care of it. None of these are due until next week, so I won't show you that stuff. Matter of fact, I won't show you NetLab until next week as well. But I don't. Yeah, let me show you the graded discussion. There's nothing due, but it'll save us some time next week. We have freedom tonight to review. So one of the things I want you to do is I believe that I need to make sure that you are prepared to take the CCNA exam. That is the critical end of course exam. My assessments, yeah, they're a little challenging, but they're not in reality. But the CCNA, can you pass the CCNA exam? Now, the way this is my assignment. This is the only thing I added to this course. Everything else came from Netacad. This is the only thing I added. I added a graded discussion. Now, the graded discussion is geared to help you pass the test by helping you to see what kind of questions are on the final assessment. I'm sorry, on the CCNA. So what you have to do is you have to open up the O'Reilly database that's located in FSCJ's list of online database. You can't just go to a website. You have to go just random course. You have to go to fscj.edu. And I want you, let's just see if I can send. Oh, I wonder if it's going to let me. Hang on. Yeah. I am not getting um, Firefox to load. Anybody in here get Firefox to work with FSCJ? Just type it in the chat room. I'll see you later. Now we have a new flow. They actually call it a flow inside of our course. And so let's see. Let me go to student so you can see what it looks like in yours. And what we're looking for is the library. So I would think it's probably over here under useful link. And then we're going to go to look for library. Here we go, library learning commons. And then once you get here, you are looking for a specific database. Oh, great. Let's see. So we're going to databases. Nope, we're going to databases. Where are we going? They changed it. Research. Let's go to research, I'm guessing. And let's go to A to Z list of journals. And we're going to go to the O'Reilly database by clicking on O. Why didn't that come up? I was just excited that this was going so smoothly, even though it is different. O'Reilly. What's this? Nope, this isn't going to get me there. So I will create a new uh, before next week when we meet. I will review how to do the discussion forum. I apologize. They changed it. They changed it today or yesterday. So I didn't really even get a chance to look at this stuff. So Bryce, I should be able to Bryce, but oh, it's journal, but I don't want to go to journal. I want to go to database. A to Z list of databases. That's what I want. Now I go to O'Reilly, and there it is right there. Okay, I got it. I knew I was close. And then on this page that opens up, now you're going to look for a textbook that has something to do with CCNA answers. So, for example, the CCNA 200, 300 exam cram, right? But what you can pick that one if you want, or CCNA exam, and then look for a book that looks. Here's an all-in-one exam guide. Let's see, but we want 200-301. And here's a couple books. Here's one, exam prep. That's different than what I already got. So oh, this is videos. Look at that. I'm glad I pulled up this one. This is videos. So if you like to learn by watching, here's an exam prep introduction that will allow you to move through this course, by watching videos. And here's module 1, and there's a video to watch, and your transcript. Module 2, all the way through. Look at all these positioning, CCNA, scheduling. Right, look at that. That's awesome. But that isn't going to answer your questions for the discussion forum. What I want with the discussion forum is I want you to, I'm just going to open up this book, and I want you to see that what I'm looking for is for you to find some sort of question, a practice exam, and you want to find a quiz like this, which of the following statement is true? And then I want you to copy and paste that into like a Word document. In addition to the question, you also have to find the answer for the question, answer key. Here you go. And now, and not only the answer key, but you should also have why it's the. Now, this isn't the best book because it just says A, B, C, D. It doesn't explain why. There are better books that actually explain why the answer is correct. Now, if you just type the correct answer is C, then later when you are closing out the question, then I'm going to take off 10%. I'm going to say you didn't explain your answer. So either find a better book than this book, and there's plenty of them, or find out, find out what the answer is, A, B, C, D, and then go find out and copy and paste that text into your answer. I don't take off for plagiarism in this course. Also, it is okay, and I recommend, this is the command guide. This doesn't have questions. I have a question book here too. Yeah, this is a CCNA certification practice test, right? So this would be helpful for you to pass the course. And it's okay if you come out of a book like this and see how it gives you it's kind of hard to see, but see how it gives you the answer and an explanation as well. That's kind of what I'm looking for. This book, if somebody I don't know if you see it correctly or if it's backwards, it's CCNA certification practice test. If somebody asks me for that in the help discussion forum under questions and answers, I'll give you the ISBN for this book. And then it's okay if you use this instead of the O'Reilly database, but you cannot just go out to the internet. You can't even go to the course content in Netacad. I want you to think about what real questions are like, and the questions inside of the Netacad content are not exactly real questions that you're going to get. This book and the books that you're going to find inside of the library. This book is based on exams that have been given in the past. They're not going to give you the exact question, but they're going to give you similar questions so that when you go to take the test, you're familiar with what you're covering. So anyway, so you grab I also want you to include the actual book itself. That's the wrong button to hit. Go back. I'm looking for the oh, here it is up here. Wow, that makes sense. Nope, that's the wrong button. I got a new mouse today, and I obviously clicked on the speed. So anyways, where is it? Let's go back. Here it is right here. Click on that. And now this is the information I want you to copy and paste into the discussion. So while you're here getting the question, and the question has to be related to the topic we're talking about, once you get the question, then you need the answer and why it's what it is, and then you need the resource, and you get all of that when you're at the site. Save it into a Word document and then present it, and then put it into the discussion. So let me go back to the discussion. So the first part is you put the question. The second part is you have to go read other students' questions, and you have to answer the question, either which one you think is right, or I should say, which one is wrong. Now, if you answer the question that's right, don't you can't say, "Yay, that's right, good job." That's not what I'm looking for. You either say it's right. The only way you can answer that question again as if you think it's wrong. That person was wrong. It's like, I don't think that's the right answer. I think it's whatever. Don't say, good job, Bob. I think you're right. That doesn't count. You have to say something's right, or if there's four, did I copy that question? Yeah. Or you have to say something's wrong. Did I copy it? Yeah, good. So let's say this is the right question, right? Let's say that's true. So if you think that's true, you're going to say, I think image A is correct because blah, blah, blah. Now, if somebody already gets question A right, then and this is wrong, then you're going to say image E is not correct because blah, blah, blah. And somebody else could say image D is not correct because of blah, blah, blah. So in this one question, 5 students maximum can participate. The person that identifies the right answer and 4 people that explain why the other answers are not correct. Okay? So that is how you do the graded discussion. Now later, once you the next week, the second week, or if somebody does, let's say your question, the right answer and 3 wrong answers are identified, there's only one left, you can close out that question. And you close out the question by making a comment on your own question. And you say, in that comment, you say, closed. The correct answer is A, blah, blah, blah. Okay? I mean, don't type that. You actually have to explain why the correct answer is A. Now, the reason I do this is because you're learning. When you're doing this discussion, you're actually learning not only content, but you're also learning. Sorry, I'm messing with my camera. I knew that was a mistake. You're not only learning content, but you are also learning how questions are written for the CCNA exam. And you have to post, and you have to comment on 3. So there's 4 questions. Ultimately, you have to find a question, and then you have to comment on 3 questions. Now, I encourage you to look at all the rest, but you go-getters in the room, I don't want you answering all the questions. And you can answer them in your head. Get your 3 or 4 or whatever, just so you know you have it. But don't answer all of them, because you got to leave room for other students to answer the correct or incorrect answers, right? Read through them, but then close off. Now, last semester, I found out that the earlier you participate in the graded discussion, the easier it is for you to not duplicate a question that somebody else answers. Because I say in the discussion that it is not, you can see everybody's question. So I ask, in the old system that we had, the old Canvas system that we had, it was really easy to see if your question was posed. But now it's not easy. So hang on a second. It was easy to see when there was a question posed. So what I recommend you do is open up the discussion, find a question, and open up the discussion and search for a few words from your post in the discussion. Just that page should be open, scroll to the bottom, and then just do a search for the question, a few words from it. And then if somebody else answers the question, well, ask the same question, you need to go get another question. But I understand it's a little bit more time consuming. The earlier you participate, the earlier it is to find out if somebody's already asked for that question, or it has already asked that question, okay? So that is the graded discussion. Hopefully that helps you understand how to do that. I'll try to find time to recreate a video that isn't as haphazard as this one is. So that is how to do so we covered my help forms, the actual content where you go to actually learn about the course. My PowerPoint presentations review this information. Again, some people hate watching PowerPoints. Students are like, hey, all he did was use a PowerPoint. But I'll tell you what, at least a PowerPoint, when I go through a PowerPoint, you know that I've actually covered all the material. Some students, some teachers will stand in front of the room and just chat about topics. And then they'll say, okay, go do the work. And they'll expect you to, review the material yourself. I don't feel that's the best way to teach. I believe I need to at least touch base on the content that NetAcad wants me to teach, and they give me these PowerPoints for a reason. They want me to review them with you. So if you're not a PowerPoint person, feel free to read all of this content, and while I'm talking, you can zone me out, I guess. I don't know. But that is the material. I cover the help forums. Ask your questions here. If you send me an email and you say, in the email, you say, I can't get step 5 to work on an assignment, I'm just going to reply to you and say, ask your question in the help discussion forum. Let's see if anybody else has the same problem. That's what my answer is going to be. I'm going to tell you right now. So if you have a technical problem, save yourself the sending me an email and waiting 48 hours for me to respond to you just to say, go ask the question in the discussion forum. Ask in the discussion forum. And you don't need to also send me an email telling me you asked in the help discussion forum. But if we're on module 1 and you are on module 8 because you really wanted to get ahead in this course, sure, everything in this course is open. You can absolutely work ahead in this course, no problem. But if you ask a question in module 4 and we're up here on modules 1 and 2, I'm not going to see the question in module 8. So in that case, you probably want to send me a message saying, hey, I know I'm ahead in the course. I asked the question in module 8. The same thing is true when we're near the end of the semester. If we're in module 15 and you ask a question in module 3, you might have to send me an email saying, hey, I know I'm behind. I just asked a question in module 3. Can you check it out and see if you have an answer for me? And I'll bring it up to the rest of the students. I'll don't ask a question about module 3 in module 15. We won't understand that. It won't make sense. You've got to ask the question for the module that you're currently working on. I showed you the videos. I explained all the content that's in week 1, and I showed you how to do the graded discussion forum for module 2. So the next thing we're going to cover is the syllabus. Now, while I was going through the syllabus, I was able to actually review some of the content. So the syllabus is a little bit easier and faster for me to do it this way. Teaching, CJ. Oh, what's it doing? It's asking me to save it. I hate that. I gotta fix that. Okay. All right. So here's our syllabus. I introduced, remember, this is a live online. You are required to come to class Mondays from 6 to 10. Now, we'll never be here until 10 o'clock. If we're meeting in person, there have been days that we were in class until 10 o'clock knocking out those labs. So be thankful you're online because we get together every week, but we don't stay until 10 o'clock. I release you to go work on those labs or whatever else you're going to do. And I tell you what we're going to learn about. And the second week is when it gets challenging. You can expect to work 4 to 6 hours each week. And I want you to read the syllabus. If you want to call me, hey, I'm a realtor, so you can call me anytime. Well, nothing in this course you need to call me after 11 o'clock at night, but I am used to my phone ringing or text messaging all day long. So just tell me what class you're in when you send a message, especially if you've never texted me before, and give me your name and tell me what the issue is, and I'll be happy. Again, don't ask technical questions like I'm stuck on step 4, but if something isn't right, like one of my assessments isn't open yet, I have to do those manually. And if I didn't open it and you want to get in and take the test, you got to reach out to me and let me know that I need to open that assessment for you. You can email, don't email me at the school. I don't read that email. What you need to do is email me when you need to ask a question that's personal. Go to the messages tool, and on this tool you can compose a message to me. Now, only use this again if like you have a death in the family or something, right? This is personal. Personal is not, I can't get NetLab to work on assignment 3.1.1. I just had a flyby. That's not personal. Yes, it is personal that you're running into that problem, but we need to find out if any other students are running into those problems. I already said that. So sending me a message saying lab 3.1.1 is not working right, how can I fix this, isn't going to help. I'm going to say, well, post your question in the help discussion forum and let's find out. But that is how you get a hold of me for personal issues. Now, you don't have to ask for permission to submit work to me late. We'll see that in a minute. I do accept late work with just a 10% penalty. So no need to send me an email saying, hey, can I turn in this work? Yes, the answer is yes. It's 10% per week an assignment is late. So don't fall too far behind. If you have a question about the content of the course or how I have Netacad set up, you can't find some resource, um, ask me, right? You don't need to reach out to my boss and say, I can't find the graded discussion uh, to my boss, right? He's not going to know. He's going to say, well, reach out to your teacher. So just reach out to me. If there's a problem you're having, reach out to me. Now, if there's a problem you're having with Canvas, like this new fluid design that we have in Canvas, like I just had a problem with finding the discussion. It was a little bit discussion database in the library. It was a little bit different than it was before. I might be able to help you with those questions, ask in the help discussion forum, but you might want to reach out to the librarian or reach out to the help desk, the FSCJ help desk, because they may be able to answer your question immediately. If you send me a message using the help form, that might take me an hour to see it, or your fellow students a few hours, or maybe a day, or maybe nobody knows the answer and you still have to reach out to the help desk. But that's all about that. Campus information, course description. We're going to learn about routers and switches. It is a 4-credit class. It's the entire semester, so we don't have to rush through this material. We meet starting at 6 o'clock. I normally chat, play a little music, wait for people to show up until about quarter after. Don't plan on showing up at quarter after, because then I'll have to wait till 6:30 and 6:45 if people start coming at 6:45. You want to come at 6 and we'll just chat about whatever's going on in life in that first 15 minutes while we wait for students to show up. If you're military, you're welcome to show up 15 minutes early, but I can't promise I'll be here because I'm on normal time now. I've been out of the Navy long enough to know better. I'm sorry, out of the Navy, to get out of the practice of showing up 15 minutes early. One of the most irritating things that I learned in the military when I first went in the Navy, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late, which made no sense to me then, and it still doesn't make sense to me, but you just got to do it. Here are the learning objectives. Important dates. We start today. We finished on August 24th. We have 2 holidays. They're both on Monday. They're both on Monday. Oh no, they're both on Monday. They're both on Monday. All right, so those 2 classes we need to still meet because they're both on Monday. We have holidays on Mondays, both of them. I know July 5th is July 4th is on a Sunday, but they observe it on July 5th. So you will need to, for those 2 classes, we don't have another day and the entire schedule is full. So you will need to, I'll put the presentation in here. I'll record it early. Or, I don't know, I'll just have you watch the one from last semester. I'll make sure that it's good before I put it up there, and I'll tell you to watch last semester's presentation. So just because we don't meet on Monday does not mean that we have a week off of work. Be aware of that. There's no other way for me to do that, because if you look down here at the schedule, this is the schedule. I can't just with July 4th here. I can't just not teach you VLANs. I got to teach you. Actually, I could put VLANs over here, but no, I'm not going to do that. I'll just have you learn VLANs in the video, and then I'll answer questions the following week if you have any questions. But you can see we have a full schedule. Now, the only week that's a little weird in this schedule, notice a couple of them are duplicated, like, I mean, not duplicated, but doubled up. That's because wide area LAN concepts and wide area, it's not wide area, what is it? WLAN concepts and WLAN configuration all go together. Security, LAN security, and switch security, they go together. So it's okay to put those in 1 week. But down here, you'll see that it's kind of weird. Why don't I have the review the week before the finals? Well, it's twofold. First of all, it's going to take you some time to go through these two practice packet tracer skills assessments. It's going to take you a while to go through those two, or it could. You need to practice. You need to do those two. They say practice, and they are practice, and they're important. I think I include those in your final grade. I know they say practice, but they're not really practice. No, they're practice. These are all practice. So here's a week off if you really don't feel like getting a good grade in the class. But that's not true. You're supposed to do these assessments, right? I'll find out something good. Like if you pass these assessments, just pass them. I'll give you a bonus points to your overall average. Somebody remind me I said that later in the semester. Because I do want you to take these two practice before you take the real skills assessment down here. Now that multiple choice exam, and all the questions for that are all out on the internet. So I don't put a whole lot of weight in multiple choice exams, not even these. All of these module exams, all of them together are worth 10% of your grade. Because, like I said, all of those questions are out on ccnav6.com and Quizlet and Course Hero and all those places. I don't want you to cheat, but I know some students will. They'll take the easy way out, so I'm not going to give you a whole lot of credit for that. But if you really want to pass this course, if you really want to learn the material, if you really want to get a job making a lot of money, then you need to learn this stuff. And if you can't pass a multiple choice test, how are you going to pass an interview when you have people stressing you out by asking you questions inside of an interview about equipment? To give you an example, I had a fellow faculty member, when he was told he no longer had a job at St. John's River, he actually went and tried to get a couple technician jobs. And at one of the tech jobs, his second interview, he passed the phone interview, but the second interview, when he went to the second interview, he walked into a room, and the interviewer said, "There's a router and a switch. Go ahead and configure basic configuration on the router and the switch." Now, they only wanted the stuff you learn in Cisco 1, things like message of the day and assigning IP addresses to routers and securing the switch, those kind of things, right? Maybe make a VLAN. But he looked at it and he was like, I don't know how to do that. He sat down at the equipment, and you can't just learn that stuff when you need to learn it. You need to know how to do that stuff in advance. And he wasn't a Cisco teacher, so he did not pass his second interview. He did not get the job. So it's important for you to actually learn this material while you're here with me, while you're in school, so that when you're actually put in that position, you're like, oh yeah, no problem. Done. And you walk out the door, and then you get paid $50,000, right, to start with. So that is this. Now, the second reason why, and I give it to you here so that if for some reason you want to continue practicing, you have an extra week in between. But also, this week I will be in New Orleans. And although I am completely available and I will be grading your work on Monday night, I don't really want to be grading your assessment. I don't want to be teaching a lesson. So I put these this work here because I'm out of pocket, and it's easier for you to practice this week and still be able to practice more if you want before you actually have to take the tests. And then I'll come back and we will cover modules 15 and 16 uh, after I get back. So that is the schedule we're going to cover. Let me go back up to where I was. This is the textbook I just showed you. It's an awesome um, uh, command guide. And I had a student that was in my class that actually was out in the field. He had been working for years, and he said, "Oh yeah, I use a command guide." And I said, "You do?" And he brought this book in, and he said, It was an older version. He said, "I use this all the time. It has all of the commands. How are you going to remember all this stuff? You'll remember the stuff you use all the time." But Cisco is huge. That's why there's 3 courses to teach Cisco. It's huge, with a lot of options for all of the commands. So he recommended that I recommend to my students to go ahead and buy this command guide, because he says he uses it all the time in the real world, and he probably told me that it was helpful for you in this course. I allow you to use outside resources, notes, this book. I'll tell you about a tech notebook that I'm going to ask you to create, but I allow you to use all of those on the assessments when you take them here in the class. I can't promise you all the other teachers do, or they appreciate that I allow you to, but that is one advantage of taking this course with me. I let you use outside resources on the exam. I don't because that's what you're going to do in the real world. Something's going to go down, and you're going to say, "Hey, I got to fix this," and you're going to go out to Google and you're going to Google the question. I don't have a problem with that. Now, a doctor, I don't want to be Googling my symptoms, although I know they do it. They step out of the room and they, let me go talk to somebody else that has some knowledge on this, and then they come back. All they did was Google it, probably. But you don't want your doctor Googling answers, but as a technician, you're going to Google answers all the time, because the the technology changes on a regular basis, right? So you have to have a computer running at home. You guys have that already. And if you have any accessibility issues, any disabilities, please reach out to me, and we'll talk. Learning computers, this learning communities, this is basically you're going to help by helping each other, and you're going to receive help that way as well. Um, there's lots of graded assessments and assignments. The tech notebook. So I want you to create a notebook for this class, and you can. I don't want you can continue the same notebook that you used in Cisco 1. Your notebook, this isn't really a notebook, but your notebook could be this size. It should be something that is readily transportable. So, because what I encourage my students to do is actually use their tech notebook when they get out to the field. You're going to continue to learn, and you're going to continue to add to your tech notebook. Now, your tech notebook should not be on a yellow sticky, right? I'm not looking for something this small, but it can be any size you want it to be. That's a notebook, and think about it as something that you're going to take notes on in class, and then when you get a real job and you run into a real problem, you're going to be able to refer to your tech notebook. You're going to add to it. You're going to add tech. You're going to add configuration information. Some of you will say, "I'll use a laptop for that," but you know what? A handy tech book with tabbed notes where you can quickly find steps to be able to solve a problem is really a useful thing. And you also will learn by writing. You will learn. A lot of young people don't realize that, but an older generation will tell you the process of writing actually helps your brain to learn material. So if you're ever trying to learn content, don't just copy and paste your flashcards, right, for anatomy class. Don't copy and paste those in. Write your flashcards out, and the process of writing will help you to learn the material. Anyways, this is worth 2.5%. I'm only looking for 10 pages to be graded, but some students, the ones that really put forth effort on this, I've seen tech notebooks of 30 pages and more. But I only expect you to do 10 pages to earn the 100 points, which is 2.5% of your grade. I showed you the graded discussions. They are worth 10% of your grade. The lab activities, you're going to do 47 real and simulated lab assignments. Now let's do the math. We're together 15 weeks. That's an average of 3 labs each week, in addition to the discussion and assessments that you have. So it's easier than Cisco 1, but it is still challenging. I know there's a lot of work. Please don't blame me. I didn't create any of these assignments. These were all created by Cisco. Cisco created these. They created the NetAcad program, and I went through the training on how to present their material, and that's what I do. So please don't blame me. There's a Rate My Professor out there that says he gives more homework than any other teacher ever, ever, ever. It's like, yeah, I do. There's a lot of homework in there, but I didn't create it. And I tell you up front, and I told him or her up front, whoever put that assignment, that I didn't create it. If you're not ready to do homework and actually learn this material, then you need to drop out of this class and go take something easier. I don't know. I just signed up for a law class on real estate law, just because I want to learn more about the contracts that I write in real estate. Is it going to be an easy class? No, it's law. It's not going to be easy. Am I going to have homework? Yeah, I'll have homework. But I know I need to learn that material. I want to learn that material, so I'm going to take the class. Same thing's true. If you don't want to do any work, drop this class now, because there's lots of work to do in this class. Now this is the real labs. We use NetLab, so you don't have to get out of your pajamas. This is what you need to follow if you have a setup at home, if you have router and switches at home and you want to do it on your own equipment, or you want to go to the lab 212 at the ATC downtown, then you have to, with your submission, you need to submit a text document with a copy of the equipment running configuration files to show that you did the work. That stuff, as far as I know, isn't out on the internet yet. So you need to show that to me. And it has dates and stuff and commands. And the actual equipment name is on it. So if you did find it out online, that would be a problem. Course assessments. There are 4 assessments in this class. I think there's actually 5 now, because the first one due this week. There's 2 practice, the real final, and then a multiple choice. Maybe I'll do something else with those 2 practice. Have you earn bonus points or something. I think I will. Module group exams, there's 5 of these. Again, it's only worth 10% because it's just multiple choice. I want you to take them for real. Don't go to Course Hero. Don't go to CCNA VSET. All of the answers are here, but you're not going to learn anything if you just go to that website and get all the answers. You really won't. And at the end, you'll be like, I don't know, when you go to take the CCNA. Here is a breakdown of all the points, all of it, all together, all 77 assignments adds up to 100% of your grade. Standard 90, 80, 70, 60. Attendance. Now, I believe it is a challenge. I believe it's important to come to class. Now, some students don't like coming to class, but I believe it's important. If you didn't think coming to class was important to earn this job making $50,000 to $100,000 a year, then you could have just gone and just done your coursework online. That's what Dan's courses and CCNA V7 and what was that, free, whatever it was that I saw earlier. That's what those websites are for. They're for people that don't want to go to college and get a degree. They just want to learn the content, and then once they learn the content, they can pass the CCNA and get that job. You came to class. You are signed up for a college course, so you have to come to class. I want you to come to class. And so what I do is I give you a reward. If you come to every single class, you come to every single class, I will give you 4 points on your overall average. Okay? It's hard. 15 times you have to turn on your computer and show up to see me. 15 times. Well, 14 times because we don't meet. Actually, 13, maybe 13 times because we don't meet the last week, and we don't meet in week 13, I guess. All the schedule meetings, if you come to all of them, then you get 4 points on your overall average. So if you only get an 86 in the class, then now you've got an A. If you miss one class, if you miss a class, you don't get the bonus. You don't get the bonus 4 points because, like I said, it's a challenge. Can you do that? More of a challenge to students that have me twice a week in a day class, for example, for an hour and a half. They got to come 30 times. You only got to come one time. You only have to come 15 times. Now, if you miss a class, I give you 2 freebies, 2 free absences. Now, use those absences for something important, like join me in New Orleans, or something like that. Use them important for travel, a cruise. It's summertime, right? You can't use the beach as an example, as an excuse because we have a night class. But if you're traveling with your family, I understand that. I give you 2 freebies. It does not hurt your average. But if you use them because you just don't feel like coming to class and then later you break your leg or you get sick, then all of a sudden you don't have any free days anymore because I give you 2. If you use both of them, there's no more free days. For every day after those 2, I subtract 3 points from your overall average. So that's how you lose those 10%, that 10%. I have to take it away somehow. So you lose 3 points on your overall average. So if you miss, for example, 4 days, the highest grade you can get in this class is a 94, right? It's 100 minus 6 because you missed 2 extra days. So if you miss 5 classes, the highest grade you can get is a 91 because you lose 3 points times 3 extra days. 2 freebies, don't go past that because then it hurts your overall average. No doctor's note or anything will be accepted because I'm giving you 2 free days. Use the 2 free days as the important days that you have to miss class. I expect you to do all of your work, and I expect you to treat others with respect here. Please. I'm going to say stupid. I always, for the last 4 years, I told my students I'm going to say stupid stuff. Like, for example, I actually voted for Trump. I voted for the guy, and then he tries to do an incitement to overrun the country. It's like I'm embarrassed that I voted for a guy that did that, right? He did some good things for our country. He overhauled the tax system, made it easier for us to file our taxes. He set it, believe it or not, he set aside a whole bunch of land for the environment, money to purchase land for the environment. He did some really good stuff. But I think when you decide you're more important than the Constitution and you try to overrun the government, I think you lose credibility. You lost my credibility, and now I'm embarrassed that I voted for the man. Now, you don't have to agree with me. Matter of fact, 40% of you probably don't. 40%. Some of you might have been there trying to overthrow the government. I don't know. But we're going to have a communication during the semester. That's what college is all about. It's about learning from your fellow faculty, learning about from your fellow students, learning from the people that you meet when you're on campus. If we ever get back to campus, it's about learning. It doesn't mean you can't nod your head up and down and then and then be respectful and then go away and say, boy, he's an idiot, right? It does. Just don't. Just understand that we all have our own opinions, and don't hold voting for Trump against me, please. I had no idea. I always liked I'm a business major. I'm an MBA. I always liked the idea of having a business guy run the country. And like I said, he did some good stuff. He just didn't finish on a strong foot. College resources, lots of them out there. Tech help desk, call them if you have a problem with anything related to St. John's. St. John's properties like this new flow, right? Call the tech help desk for help with that. Now, when it comes to Moodle, which is what Netacad uses Moodle, and if you have a question about that, you have to call me. I'm the only one that can contact tech support. There's no free tech support. I'm not Canvas. Cisco gives Netacad to colleges for free because they want you to learn the Netacad equipment. And once you learn the Netacad equipment, and then you get out to the workforce, and they say, we need to buy a new switch. What do you recommend, John? John says, I know everything about Cisco switches. Let's buy a Cisco switch. And you're off and running. They don't want to have it. They want to have you already feel kind of like what Microsoft Office does, giving you Microsoft Office for free when you're a college student. All right, that's the schedule, and that's it. No, I went past one extra page there. I don't know if I can fix that. Anyway, so that is everything for the course. Am I missing anything? I am going to put the video on pause just for a moment and ask my class if I missed anything. Hold on a second. So I just had a student ask that if they miss, if for somebody, hey, nope, if they miss a class because of a power outage or something, will that hurt them or hurt their grade? And the answer is yeah, and that's because in today's world, all of you have smartphones, I assume, and especially tech people. You have smartphones, and you can download the Canvas app and then click on the link, and it will open up WebEx, and you can be in my class wherever you are and still get credit for being in class. So no need to really miss a class, even if you're on the road. Conceivably, while in New Orleans, walking down Bourbon Street, I could open up the app and have class, and that probably would be the most interesting class that I would ever have. But let's just not go there, okay? All right. That is it for this presentation. I think I have covered everything. Don't leave yet, those of you that are in the classroom. I have to take attendance. But I'm going to close out of the syllabus. I covered the syllabus. I covered the classroom. I covered the discussion forum. I covered my expectation. Next week, when we meet again, I will show you NetLab. But in fact, I'm not even going to give you the NetLab sign-in until our next meeting, right before our next meeting, next Monday sometime, because there's this add drop week where some of you will probably drop the class after me telling you how much work there is. And other students that weren't even here today are going to join the class. And NetLab is really a pain to jump over people that drop and add people late. It's really a pain. So I'll wait till next Monday after drop add, when most of you should be here for the rest of the semester. So with that said, I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I am going to say that I'm thankful that you're here. It's going to be a great semester. We're going to learn a lot about Cisco. If you have any questions at all, ask in the help discussion forum. If you're on an individual module, ask there. But otherwise, ask in the questions and answers for the professor room. That's the best room to ask questions about the course itself, like late policies and things like that. All right, thank you so much. Again, those of you that are here, don't run away. I'm just closing this presentation for my recorded audience. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I will see you again next week, and I look forward to the whole semester.